these issues, the vices themselves, then we will never be able to control gambling. That is my fear, Speaker. And recently, in the last few months in this House, as I said, we keep legislating things that are the symptoms and not the actual core root of an issue. Recently, Speaker, we were trying to legislate around fundraising in churches and the like. And there are members in this House who actually said and opposed that bill because they said, how can you tax or try to regulate fundraising without looking at the reason why Kenyans feel like fundraising is their only hope to get through their problems? When somebody fundraises for a sick relative, we must not regulate the fundraising. We must ask, why does this person feel like the health system has failed them? When somebody is trying to fundraise, for example, for education or taking someone to university, you must not regulate that, but you must ask, why is this person feeling that the education system has failed them, and that's why they have to look into their family and friends and community to raise funds for education. Same principle for me, Speaker, lies here. Why are we trying to regulate gambling and try to put heavy restrictions or legislation on top of this issue rather than actually dealing with the root cause of why people are privy or prey or run prey to gambling, which is the things that I've mentioned before? I think those are the issues that we need to really sit and think about, not just as legislators, but as thinkers, Mr. Speaker, because that's why we are here. We are apparently the most brilliant minds in the country, and that's why we have been put here to represent our people. And if we cannot sit and think about the root cause of our issues as a country, rather than always treating the symptoms and slapping a piece of legislation on top of it, then we will never, ever control anything. Nonetheless, gambling is my opinion, Speaker. And even if we go ahead
Senator Mungatana Cherargei and AD, please consult in low tones so that we can hear Senator Crystal. Proceed.
Thank you for protecting me from the members who are consulting. This is a very emotive subject, and I'm sure that they are busy discussing my submission as I speak. Thank you very much, Speaker. I want to just underscore and re-emphasize that we need to think about the root cause, curing that, or preventing the root cause, rather than thinking about how to cure it with a piece of paper and regulations. Speaker, even as a creative, let me speak from the perspective of a creative. We recently, in the last financial bill of last year that was thwarted by protests across the country, Speaker, there was a provision or a proposal to start taxing creatives, the creative industry. And creatives came out in large numbers to say, how can you tax us or regulate us when you haven't created an environment for us to even thrive in the first place? What are you going to tax out of us? Creatives said. And Speaker, that same idea, I will take it not literally, but there are similarities from that to this, which is, why would you want to tax a base of people who clearly are showing symptoms of issues that we have not solved as society? Rather than solving them, we are punishing them for being unemployed, for being addicted to alcohol or drugs or pornography, whatever the case might be, when we haven't actually sat down as thinkers and the most brilliant minds in the country and looked at the research and actually engaged with evidence-based legislation to then realize that, hey, this may not be the actual, or it may not be a sustainable solution to just write a piece of legislation. We need to actually go down to the base, to the core, to the bottom line, which is, why are our people feeling the need to continue to gamble their lives, their assets, their dreams, their possessions away, instead of looking for earnest work, looking to cure their mental illness, looking to address their addictions, looking to stop watching pornography. Mr. Speaker, for me, that is something that is poignant, and I had laid it out very clearly when we looked into this bill in the Labour Committee. It's still the case now, even though there's mediated version, which has not really addressed that same question, which is maybe philosophical, but still has to be answered by somebody. And I would have hoped that this mediated version or this committee would have addressed those kinds of issues rather than slapping us with yet another piece of legislation which may never, ever solve our problem and never bring any kind of control to gambling. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Andrew Omtatah.
I'll be very brief and presidential. First of all, this is a bad bill. It is tackling a very, very technical area without any scientific study having preceded it. And that is where the problem is. The root cause of gambling is a misconception that it is a shortcut to making wealth. There's a shortcut to creating wealth. And in a country like Kenya now, where to make a shilling has become very difficult, you can see the way that this thing has mushroomed across. And maybe we may need to withdraw this bill, have a proper study on what is driving this issue, and then come up with scientific solutions. When I look through this bill, I don't see anything that is scientific about it, and I don't see any solution proffered. Yes, there's need for regulation, but by doing what? There's need for education, but by doing what? There's need for so many interventions, but by doing what? So I think, Mr. Speaker, this bill, though a good idea, but it's not being done well. And as a student of St. Thomas Aquinas, yes, my position is that if something is worth doing, it's worth doing well. This bill is badly done, though we need an intervention in the problems facing us with gambling, but this bill is not the solution. Senator Mungatana did not support the bill. He recognized that there was a bill, but I didn't say he did not support it. He recognized that there was a bill. And for me, Mr. Speaker, in the absence of a serious study, we are really groping in the dark, and we are likely to make a bad situation worse, thinking that we are doing something to improve it. So I would say that this bill be withdrawn, and a proper study be conducted by the state. Then, from that study, the state can bring us a bill that can address the issues in the industry. Because you have seen even situations like, if you look at all the adverts on gambling, when you look at all the adverts on gambling, they promise quick wealth. Yes. They don't promise anything else. It's not refreshing your mind, it's not a pastime, but you're going to get rich at the end of the day. As they say, leo hustler, kesho sonko, kind of transformations. So I would pray that this bill be withdrawn, or if it's not withdrawn, we vote it out, and then give that, leave the door open for a better, well-researched, and well-reasoned bill to come before us, one that can then exercise our minds. Really, right now, we are just not well informed to make a decision. And with those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, sir, I personally reject the bill.